Stability is not Control series. Episode 10. Stability requires boundaries. We talked about trust. But trust without boundaries can become another kind of instability. Because sometimes people hear words like loyalty, patience, forgiveness, and commitment and think they mean keep accepting the disrespect, keep accepting the lying, keep accepting the chaos, keep accepting somebody crossing the same line again and again because leaving would mean the relationship failed. I don't think that's stability either. Sometimes the most stabilizing thing you can do is say, no, not everything deserves another chance. Not everybody deserves permanent access. And not every relationship becomes more valuable simply because it has existed for a long time. A boundary is basically saying, this is what can exist in my life and this is what cannot. That is different from controlling somebody. Control says, you have to behave the way I want so I can feel safe. A boundary says, you can make your own choices. But your choices determine whether I continue participating. That's a very important difference. If I tell someone, you are not allowed to speak to anybody I don't like, that can become control. But if I say, I will not remain in a relationship where there is cheating, that's a boundary. I am not controlling whether you cheat. You can do whatever you choose. I am telling you what I will do if that becomes part of the relationship. And boundaries become important because stability is not only about keeping good things, it is also about protecting them. Imagine you have a good friendship, then somebody enters and constantly creates conflict between you. Every misunderstanding becomes bigger. Every private conversation gets repeated. Every disagreement gets carried somewhere else. Every insecurity gets fed. At some point, continuing to give that person unlimited access is not kindness. You are allowing instability to enter a healthy structure. The same thing can happen in a family, a workplace, a relationship, even inside your own head. People sometimes think protecting peace means avoiding confrontation. Actually, avoiding confrontation can create much bigger confrontation later. You notice something small, you say nothing. It happens again, you say nothing. The resentment grows. Then eventually something tiny happens and you explode. Everyone thinks, why are you reacting like this? Because the argument isn't really about today. It is about everything you refused to address before. Boundaries make things clearer earlier. Don't speak to me like that. If something bothers you, tell me directly. Do not involve other people in something between us. I can help you, but I cannot keep doing everything for you. I understand you're angry, but this behavior isn't acceptable. Those conversations are uncomfortable. But clear discomfort is often healthier than hidden resentment. There is another problem. Some people only like you when you have no boundaries. The moment you say no, suddenly you have changed. You're selfish, you're difficult, you're ungrateful, you're arrogant, you think you're better than everybody. Maybe. But sometimes what really happened is simply that the arrangement stopped benefiting them. If somebody only experiences your kindness as kindness when it has no limit, what they valued may not have been your kindness. They valued access. That doesn't mean everyone who reacts badly to a boundary is using you. People get hurt. They misunderstand. Sometimes your boundary is unreasonable. Sometimes your timing is terrible. Sometimes you communicate it badly. You still need to examine yourself. But somebody being unhappy about a boundary does not automatically mean the boundary is wrong. This is where responsibility comes back in. Boundaries should not become an excuse for avoiding accountability either. People sometimes use the language of boundaries to escape every uncomfortable conversation. That's my boundary. Fine, but is it a boundary? Or are you trying to control what other people are allowed to say about your behavior? If somebody tells you, you hurt me, you cannot automatically answer, I don't accept negativity in my life. That's not always protecting your peace. Sometimes that's avoiding responsibility. A healthy boundary should protect your dignity without making you immune to correction. That's why this gets complicated. Because stability needs both protection and openness. You need enough boundaries that people cannot constantly walk over you, but enough openness that trustworthy people can still tell you when you're wrong. Too little protection and people can use you. Too much protection and nobody can reach you. The balance matters. There is another kind of boundary that becomes important with people we love. Knowing what belongs to us and what belongs to them. You can support someone without carrying their entire life. You can love someone without becoming responsible for every choice they make. You can give advice without forcing them to take it. You can forgive someone without returning to the same relationship. You can care about somebody and still say, I cannot live inside this with you. That can be painful, but pain and wrong are not the same thing. Sometimes doing the healthy thing hurts, and sometimes staying in something harmful feels easier because at least it is familiar. Stability can become confused with familiarity. We've always been like this. This is how our family works. We've been together too long. That's just how they are. But something being familiar does not mean it is stable. A repeated problem is still a problem. A predictable disaster is still a disaster. Sometimes real stability begins when somebody finally breaks a pattern everyone else became used to. That could mean leaving. It could mean speaking. It could mean changing how much access somebody has. It could mean refusing to continue a certain behavior. It could also mean repairing something instead of running from it. The point isn't always separation. The point is clarity. What am I protecting? What am I tolerating? What am I contributing? What needs to change? What happens if it doesn't? Those questions create structure. And structure creates stability, not because everything becomes easy, because everybody knows where they stand. I think this is one of the biggest differences between control and boundaries. Control is usually trying to remove someone else's freedom. Boundaries accept that they have freedom, and then you use yours too. Stability does not require controlling everyone around you. Sometimes it simply requires knowing what you will and will not build your life around.